Quantum manifestation isn't what you've been told. Carl Jung's hidden truth about creation. Reality is not merely what you see, it's what you believe. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In today's video, quantum manifestation isn't what you've been told. Carl Jung's hidden truth about creation. We're diving deep into what true creation really means beyond wishful thinking. It's not about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about aligning your vibration, your beliefs, and your inner energy with the reality you wish to experience. So as you listen, I want you to reflect. Are you creating from fear or from faith? Comment below with, I create from my higher self, if you're ready to manifest consciously and live from a place of spiritual wisdom. 1. The illusion of time and effort. Traditional manifestation techniques, visualizing, scripting, and affirming, have long been seen as sacred rituals for creating the life we desire. Yet few realize that these very practices often reinforce separation rather than unity. When you visualize something as coming, you subtly declare that it is not yet here. When you affirm, I will receive, you unknowingly affirm lack. In truth, the universe does not respond to your words or your waiting. It responds to your alignment. The quantum field does not operate within the boundaries of time and effort. It flows through the timeless language of coherence, resonance, and energetic truth. In spirituality and spiritual awakening, you begin to see that reality is not something you chase, but something you harmonize with. The more you seek, the more you declare that you do not yet have. But when you embody what you desire, when your energy says, I am it, the universe mirrors that wholeness back to you effortlessly. Thinking that you must wait, strive, or earn your desires creates a vibration of absence. It's like standing before a mirror and expecting it to smile before you do. The quantum field, much like that mirror, reflects only what you are, not what you hope to become. When you vibrate with impatience or doubt, you create more waiting and more reasons to doubt. Carl Jung once said, what you resist not only persists, but grows in size. In the same way, the more you resist the present moment by believing fulfillment lies in the future, the more you expand the distance between who you are and what you want. Manifestation is not about pulling something out of thin air. It is about remembering that you and your desire are two sides of the same consciousness, separated only by belief. Every desire you hold already exists in another layer of reality. The quantum field is infinite, and every possibility already vibrates within it. You do not need to chase it. You only need to match its frequency. Coherence is the bridge between thought and form. When your heart and mind move in harmony, when your emotions and beliefs sing the same note, the field responds instantly. This is why alignment feels effortless. It's not about control, it's about surrender. The more you trust your inner coherence, the more time begins to dissolve, and manifestation becomes immediate, not because it suddenly appeared, but because you finally tuned in. Many people confuse effort with energy. They think repeating affirmations or spending countless hours visualizing will bend the universe to their will. But the universe bends only to authenticity. You cannot trick energy with words. You must feel it. The quantum field reads emotion, not language. When you feel whole, grateful, and connected, you send out the signal that you already have what you desire. And because the universe has no concept of waiting, it responds now. True manifestation is not about trying harder. It's about becoming quieter, quiet enough to hear your own vibration returning to you as reality. In the journey of spiritual awakening, you come to see that creation is not an act of effort, but of remembrance. You do not create abundance. You remember that abundance has always surrounded you. You do not manifest love. You awaken to the truth that love has never left you. The illusion of time collapses when you live from coherence, when you stop asking when and start embodying now. This is the hidden truth Carl Jung hinted at. The unconscious mind already holds every possibility, every version of you. When you bring that knowing into consciousness, fate transforms into choice, and creation becomes effortless. The quantum field is not testing your patience, it is waiting for your recognition. When you align with that recognition, the illusion of waiting ends, and reality begins to flow from within you, not to you. If you truly understand that time is an illusion and creation flows effortlessly from your consciousness, then type below, I create beyond time. 2. Reality collapses through frequency, not force. Reality does not unfold gradually, it collapses in response to your frequency. This means you are not merely waiting for life to happen to you. You are continuously shaping it through the vibration you maintain. You don't attract reality, you select it. Every emotion you hold, every thought you repeat, is a form of communication with the quantum field. The universe listens not to your words, but to your energetic coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align in harmony, you stabilize a vibration so clear that reality collapses into form with speed and precision. This is why the more coherent your emotional frequency, the faster your intentions take shape. Your emotional state is the command center of creation. When your energy is scattered, when you oscillate between fear and faith, you send mixed signals to the field, and the collapse of potential into form becomes unstable. But when you hold a steady emotional tone, one of gratitude, love, clarity, or trust, you become a tuning fork, resonating with higher outcomes. You begin to notice how people respond differently, how opportunities flow more smoothly, and how the same world starts to mirror back a different version of itself. In this sense, spirituality is not about escaping reality. It is about refining your vibration so deeply that you start co-creating reality consciously rather than accidentally. The key to spiritual development lies in learning to hold coherence amid chaos. It's easy to feel aligned when things go your way, but mastery comes from maintaining emotional steadiness when external conditions test your faith. This is where energy meets discipline. Instead of reacting to fear or control, you practice attunement, breathing slowly, quieting your thoughts, and anchoring into the feeling of calm strength that already exists within you. The field does not respond to effort, it responds to frequency. The more you embody your desired state right now, the faster life reorganizes to reflect it. You can think of your inner world as a broadcasting station. Every thought, every emotion is a signal sent into the quantum sea. When your signal is filled with doubt or confusion, you tune yourself to experiences that reinforce that confusion. But when you consciously tune your frequency to clarity, abundance, or peace, life starts presenting circumstances that match it. Reality doesn't argue, it reflects. So, Your true power lies not in forcing results, but in aligning your frequency with what you wish to experience. This is why pushing, striving, or trying to control outcomes only delays manifestation. Force disrupts the field. Coherence commands it. To live from this awareness, begin by observing your dominant vibration throughout the day. Before you act, pause and ask yourself, what signal am I sending right now? If your body feels tense or your thoughts spiral, you are out of sync. Use that moment to recalibrate, breathe deeply, soften your chest, and return to the vibration of faith or gratitude. Each time you do this, you strengthen your energetic consistency. Spirituality is not about perfection. It is about returning to alignment more quickly each time you lose it. Over time, this becomes your natural state, and creation becomes effortless. True manifestation, then, is not magic, it's physics. The quantum field mirrors the emotional frequency you live in, not the desires you merely think about. When your energy becomes coherent, you stop chasing and start allowing. Life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a graceful unfolding of what was already yours. This is the essence of spiritual development, learning to stabilize your inner world so completely that the outer world has no choice but to align with it. Reality collapses through frequency, not force. And when you understand this, creation itself becomes an act of inner harmony. 3. Emotion is the true language of creation. Emotion is the true language of creation because the universe does not listen to words or thoughts. It listens to the vibration of how you feel. The quantum field, which is the invisible matrix connecting all things, does not react to your affirmations or mental wishes. It responds to your emotional frequency. Your emotion is the energetic voltage that powers your signal to creation. When you truly feel the emotion of already having your desire, when gratitude, love, and certainty rise within you, that vibration instantly collapses the distance between you and what you seek. In that moment, the reality you imagine aligns with your emotional state, and the universe rearranges itself to match the energy you are sending out. Carl Jung, whose work continues to inspire modern spiritual wisdom, understood that emotion is the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your emotions are the voice of the unconscious. They tell the universe what you truly believe beyond words. You can think positively all day, but if deep down you feel fear, doubt, or unworthiness, that is the signal you are transmitting. Emotion is the magnetic field that surrounds every thought, shaping how the quantum field interprets your reality. When you change how you feel, you change what you attract, because emotion transforms thought into energetic instruction. Imagine words as the design of your intention, but emotion as the electricity that brings that design to life. Without the emotional charge, your thoughts are just blueprints without energy to manifest. This is why spiritual wisdom emphasizes feeling over thinking. You can repeat, "I am abundant," 1,000 times, but if your heart feels lack, the universe receives the frequency of lack, not abundance. Only when you embody the emotion of abundance, when your body believes it's already true, does the quantum field respond and reflect that experience back to you. It is not about convincing the universe. It is about convincing your nervous system that your desire already exists. Carl Jung believed that suppressed emotions distort our energy and block the flow of creation. Unhealed pain, resentment, or guilt become static interference in your signal to the universe. To manifest consciously, you must clear the emotional noise by bringing awareness to what you feel and transforming it. This is why self-awareness and healing are vital in spiritual awakening. The energy of fear must be transmuted into trust. The emotion of lack must be replaced by gratitude, and resistance must give way to surrender. The moment your emotions harmonize with the frequency of what you desire, the universe begins to reorganize reality around your new vibration. Quantum manifestation is not about forcing or chasing outcomes. It is about becoming the emotional match to them. Everything is energy, and as Einstein once said, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. The quantum field mirrors your emotional state. Your thoughts set direction, but your emotions provide the momentum. Creation is not linear. It is vibrational. You are constantly broadcasting your inner world into the outer world, whether you realize it or not. The more you feel joy, gratitude, and inner peace, the more you align with realities that contain those same frequencies. This is the hidden truth Carl Jung revealed through his study of the psyche. Emotion is the language through which the soul speaks to the universe, and when your inner world changes, your outer world must follow. Stay connected with our community of spiritual seekers by subscribing to Spiritual Wisdom. Here, we explore the deeper layers of consciousness and uncover the truth behind creation through the lens of Carl Jung. 4. Embodiment over effort. The body is not just a vessel. It is the antenna of manifestation, the bridge between your consciousness and the quantum field of creation. In spirituality, every cell of your being vibrates with energy that communicates directly with the universe. When your mind envisions abundance, but your body still clings to fear, the signal becomes distorted, weak, and fragmented. You can't attract peace while your body holds tension, or summon love while your heart is armored by past wounds. True spiritual awakening begins when the body and mind are no longer in conflict, but move in harmony, sending out a pure frequency that mirrors what you wish to create. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." To make your desires real, you must bring them down from the realm of thought into the language of your nervous system, because the universe doesn't listen to words, it listens to energy. When you breathe deeply, walk with presence, and feel gratitude pulsing through your veins, you begin to broadcast a frequency of alignment. The body becomes the living proof of belief, the physical echo of your inner knowing. Every breath you take is a conversation with creation. Every movement you make either strengthens or weakens the signal you send out. That's why manifestation isn't about effort, it's about embodiment. You don't fake it until you make it. You feel it until it becomes real. You allow your nervous system to register safety, joy, abundance, and love as your natural state. The more your body feels what your mind imagines, the more real it becomes in the quantum field. You are not trying to attract something external. You are becoming the vibration of that thing within yourself. In spirituality, everything is frequency. If your body vibrates in fear, you'll meet fear. If it vibrates in love, you'll meet love. This is why spiritual awakening is not about escaping your body to reach higher dimensions. It's about descending into your body to embody the divine fully. When you are aware of how you breathe, how you stand, how your heart beats when you think of your dreams, you begin to shape reality from the inside out. You stop chasing. You start embodying. You no longer visualize abundance as a future event. You breathe it now. You move with its confidence. You rest in its certainty. Carl Jung believed that wholeness is not achieved by rejecting parts of ourselves, but by integrating them. The same principle applies to manifestation. Integration creates magnetism. When your thoughts, emotions, and body are united in one vibration, the universe recognizes it as truth. The body becomes the sacred instrument through which creation plays its symphony. You don't command reality, you harmonize with it. In that harmony, everything you seek begins to seek you, because you have become its living reflection. That is the secret behind true manifestation. Not effort, not repetition, but embodiment, the art of feeling it until your very being sings in tune with the universe. 5. Reverse manifesting and the pull of the future. You are not truly walking toward your future. The future is already collapsing into you. It is not a destination somewhere ahead, but a frequency waiting for your alignment. When your vibration rises to match that higher version of yourself, life stops feeling like a chase. Instead, it becomes a pull, an effortless attraction toward what already belongs to you. The universe moves faster than thought, and the moment your inner energy resonates with your desired reality, it begins to draw you in like gravity. This is not imagination. It is the quantum rhythm of creation that Carl Jung hinted at through his exploration of synchronicity, the mysterious way in which outer events mirror the hidden structure of the inner world. Spirituality teaches that your future self is not a stranger, but an expanded version of your consciousness, gently calling you home. This alignment cannot be forced through excitement or constant striving. Peace is what opens the door. Stillness, not movement, is what creates real speed. The moment your mind softens into silence, your energy field becomes coherent enough to communicate with the deeper intelligence of existence. The universe is not impressed by noise. It responds to frequency. That is why spiritual development is not about chasing success, wealth, or recognition, but about becoming still enough to hear the subtle vibration of your true path. You manifest not by doing more, but by being in harmony with what you already are. This harmony doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from inner clarity, from quiet confidence that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In quantum manifestation, that means the moment you bring awareness to the patterns hidden within your subconscious mind, you stop repeating the same future over and over again. The unseen forces of thought, emotion, and belief collapse into the visible field of matter through attention. The more conscious you become, the faster your reality rearranges itself to match your frequency. This is why spirituality and spiritual development require self-awareness. It is not the mind that manifests, but the consciousness behind it. The paradox is that surrender, not effort, accelerates creation. When you let go of chasing outcomes, you allow the magnetic current of destiny to pull you forward. What used to feel like resistance dissolves, and synchronicities appear where struggle once existed. In that state of inner peace, your energy no longer sends mixed signals to the universe. You stop trying to control the unfolding and start trusting the divine intelligence guiding it. The stiller you become, the faster everything moves, because now you are not opposing the flow. You are part of it. The lesson is timeless. The future is not out there waiting for you to catch it. It is already encoded within your being, waiting for you to remember. When you stop running, breathe deeply, and align your heart with the serenity of faith, the reality you long for begins to unfold naturally. The universe doesn't respond to your hurry. It responds to your harmony. Do you feel the pull of your future calling you? If you do, declare it boldly in the comments. I trust the universe is guiding me toward my destiny. 6. The paradox of acceleration. The paradox of acceleration reveals one of the most profound truths of spiritual wisdom. The harder you chase something, the further it slips away, and the more you try to force reality, the slower it responds. This is not merely philosophy, it's energetic law. When you chase, your frequency vibrates from lack, not creation. You are telling the universe, I don't have it, and that vibration keeps it out of reach. As Carl Jung said, what you resist not only persists, but grows in size. The more you struggle, the more resistance you build, and that resistance becomes the very wall between you and what you desire. The secret is not in acceleration, but in surrender, because surrender is not weakness, it is resonance. When you release control and fall into presence, you align with the frequency of coherence, and what once seemed distant begins to move towards you effortlessly. Coherence, not motion, is what collapses possibilities into form. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are scattered, the signal you send into the quantum field is distorted. You cannot manifest clarity from confusion or harmony from chaos. But when you align the heart and the mind into one rhythm, when your inner world hums in unity, creation responds instantly. The universe mirrors coherence because coherence is order, and order is the language of reality. You do not need to chase energy when you are the energy. Manifestation, in its truest form, is not an act of doing, it is an act of being. Carl Jung understood this through his exploration of the unconscious. He taught that the unconscious shapes our outer life until we bring it into awareness. Until you make the unconscious conscious, he said, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This means that the act of manifestation is not about attracting something new. It is about remembering who you already are. Spiritual wisdom teaches that the universe responds not to your words, but to your frequency. When you embody coherence, your entire being becomes a magnet for synchronicity. The external world reorganizes itself to reflect your inner state, and life begins to unfold with effortless precision. Surrender, then, is not giving up. It is giving in to the flow of existence. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes and begin to trust the rhythm of the universe. Presence becomes your fastest vehicle. Awareness becomes your bridge between thought and reality. The paradox is that stillness creates movement, and acceptance births change. When you stop grasping, you make space for grace. Your energy stops fighting against itself and begins to attract with ease. This is mastery, not the mastery of control, but the mastery of vibration. True quantum manifestation happens when your inner and outer worlds become one coherent field of awareness. It is not about forcing, proving, or rushing. It is about resonating, aligning, and allowing. You move not through effort, but through frequency. You realize that creation is not something you chase. It is something you tune into. The more you let go, the faster it comes. The less you control, the more you create. The path of spiritual wisdom, as Carl Jung hinted, is not in chasing light, but in becoming light itself. Not in seeking alignment, but in remembering that you already are the frequency the universe recognizes as truth. 7. The collapse moment. The collapse moment is not an ending. It is the quiet merging of desire and belief. The instant when your vibration no longer argues with your dream. In that moment, what you seek stops being something you chase and becomes something you naturally allow. Reality, obedient to your inner harmony, rearranges itself without struggle, like the universe taking a deep breath and exhaling alignment into your life. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, but grows in size." Resistance is the tension between who you think you are and what your soul knows you're meant to experience. When that resistance dissolves, the far becomes near, the impossible becomes obvious, and the unseen takes form in front of you. This is not magic. It's the physics of spirituality, the natural law of a mind that has stopped contradicting its own creation. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with fear, doubt, and old stories about why you cannot have what you want. Every step feels slow. Every goal seems miles away. But the moment you put that backpack down, when you stop defending your limitations, you realize the destination was always right beside you. The collapse moment is the dropping of that weight. It is the energetic click when your nervous system, thoughts, and soul all whisper the same truth. I am ready now. Reality rushes to meet you, not because it has changed, but because you finally have. In spirituality, this collapse represents the beginning of a new identity. It's not the universe changing its mind about you. It's you aligning your mind with the truth the universe has held all along. You are no longer vibrating at separation, but at unity. The moment your belief and desire become one frequency, your external world must echo that shift. Suddenly, people respond differently. Doors open easily, and synchronicities multiply. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of coherence, proof that your inner and outer realities are now dancing to the same rhythm. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that the unconscious governs most of our lives until we bring it to light. The collapse moment is that illumination, the second you stop unconsciously pushing against your own intentions. It's the heart realizing that surrender is the highest form of control. To reach this, you do not need to try harder. You need to relax deeper. Notice where you say you believe in abundance, but still prepare for lack. Where you ask for love, but secretly fear rejection. Where you pray for peace, but nurture inner conflict. These are the vibrations that split your signal to the universe. And when you heal them, when you allow your thoughts, emotions, and identity to speak the same language, you create a resonance so pure that life can only respond with precision. The collapse moment is not about doing more, but about becoming still enough to feel the alignment that was always available. It is the alchemy of thought, emotion, and energy converging into form. When you reach this space, manifestation stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like remembering. You begin to understand that the universe was never testing you, it was tuning you. And each collapse is an initiation into higher awareness, a spiritual awakening that reveals how reality bends around belief. Every new level of consciousness invites another collapse, another timeline aligning with your highest potential. So when the next wave of resistance comes, greet it as a sign that another collapse is near. Breathe into it, honor it, and remind yourself that the universe is not withholding it, is organizing. The moment you stop contradicting your desire is the moment creation completes itself. Collapse is not destruction. It is birth. It is your soul crossing into a new dimension of truth, where what once felt far finally feels like home. To honor the power of your own awakening, take a moment to affirm it. Comment below, "I rise through the collapse," to remind yourself and others that every breakdown is simply the doorway to a greater breakthrough. 8. Integration and stabilization. After the collapse of your old self, when everything you once identified with falls apart, the real process of spirituality begins. Integration is not about becoming something new, but about living as the version of yourself who already has what you've desired consistently, calmly, and confidently. This is the stage where your spiritual development deepens, because it's no longer about visualizing or hoping, but about maintaining coherence and unshakable inner alignment between what you believe, how you feel, and the way you act. Without this coherence, the new timeline you've created can't hold. You may glimpse moments of transformation, but they'll fade unless your energy becomes stable enough to sustain them. To integrate is to stabilize your chosen frequency, to live in harmony with the vibration of what you've already called forth. You are not chasing the manifestation, you are remembering it. You are reuniting with the truth that you already carry the frequency of abundance, love, and peace within your own being. Carl Jung spoke of the sacred union between the conscious and the unconscious, the moment when your inner world and your outer reality merge into one. That's what true manifestation really is. It's not about reaching outward, but allowing the deeper self, the one who already knows, to guide the direction of your life effortlessly. In this stage, you stop reacting to life from fear, doubt, or impatience. You start responding from calm awareness. You no longer question whether it's working, you simply know. Coherence becomes your strength, your invisible power. Even when the outer world still reflects fragments of your old vibration, you hold your new frequency with quiet confidence. You trust the process because you understand that energy always precedes form. As your vibration stabilizes, your nervous system adjusts, your thoughts become clearer, and your emotions begin to reflect a deeper peace. That peace itself becomes the proof that your manifestation is real. Every time you choose stability over chaos, trust over panic, faith over resistance, you anchor your new reality more deeply. You realize that creation is not about effort or struggle. It's about remembrance. You are remembering your divine nature, the part of you that already exists beyond time and space. Manifestation, in its purest form, is not a pursuit, but a return to energetic truth. And so, each time you act, speak, and think from the version of you who already has it, you reinforce the coherence that keeps your new timeline alive. Integration is not a single event. It's a way of being. It is the daily decision to align with your higher self even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. It is the practice of holding your energy steady while the old dissolves. Through that steadiness, you master the art of spiritual development and the ability to remain centered no matter what life presents. And in that stillness, your new world is born, not through force, but through resonance, because what matches your frequency cannot help but find its way to you. In the end, quantum manifestation is not about forcing the universe to obey your will. It's about aligning your inner frequency with divine order. As Carl Jung reminded us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The true act of creation begins when your thoughts, emotions, and soul are in harmony with the greater intelligence of life itself. If this message from spiritual wisdom inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the mysteries of consciousness and creation. When home becomes a sanctuary, the psychology of staying in, explained by Carl Jung. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart, Carl Jung once said, reminding us that the spaces we choose, especially our homes, reflect the deepest parts of our inner world. In today's video, when home becomes a sanctuary, the psychology of staying in, we'll explore why some people feel most alive, most grounded, and most themselves when they are in the quiet comfort of their own space. On Spiritual Wisdom, we dive into the deeper meaning behind everyday behaviors. And today, you'll discover how staying at home can be a powerful form of self-connection, emotional healing, and spiritual growth. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Do you feel more energized at home or outside? And why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone who feels the same way. 1. Inner peace over outer noise. People who prefer staying at home are not avoiding life. They are choosing the kind of peace that the outside world often cannot give them. Because for souls with rich inner lives, silence is not emptiness, but nourishment. Their calm nature reflects a depth that is easy to misunderstand. And while society teaches that being constantly active, social, and visible is the sign of a meaningful life, Carl Jung reminds us that who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens, meaning that some of the most profound growth happens in solitude, where the mind finally has the space to breathe. For these individuals, home becomes a sanctuary, not because they fear the world, but because stillness allows them to hear themselves clearly. It allows them to feel more grounded, more alive, and more connected to their intuition. And this internal connection is a powerful doorway to spirituality and spiritual awakening. They thrive in quiet environments because noise drains them, chaos distracts them, and constant stimulation forces them away from their true emotional rhythm. So the choice to stay in is actually a choice to protect their energy. This preference is rooted in discernment, not avoidance, because the inner world of a sensitive, intuitive person often carries layers of thoughts, reflections, and emotions that need space to unfold, and home provides the safest environment for that unfolding. When they sit in silence, they do not feel lonely. They feel aligned, and in that alignment, they are able to process experiences, understand themselves, and reconnect with parts of their soul that get ignored in the busyness of daily life. Their home becomes the space where the psyche reorganizes itself, where their nervous system resets, and where clarity rises naturally without force. Jung often described the inner chamber of the psyche as a sacred place. And for many people, staying in is simply the act of returning to that chamber. They may spend time reading, reflecting, creating, or simply existing quietly. But every moment spent in stillness becomes a way to strengthen their emotional foundation. As they embrace this lifestyle, they begin to notice that they function best when their environment is peaceful, intentional, and free from unnecessary noise, because chaos disrupts their focus and drains their emotional energy. Home gives them the rare gift of uninterrupted presence. It becomes the place where they access their intuition, where insights come without effort, and where their spiritual wisdom sharpens. For them, stillness is not passive. It is active healing. It is where they recognize their wounds, understand their patterns, and listen to the subtle messages of their unconscious mind. Through this process, they develop a stronger sense of self, a clearer emotional identity, and a deeper trust in their own inner guidance, all of which are essential parts of spiritual awakening. By choosing inner peace over outer noise, they are not stepping away from life. They are stepping closer to their truth. Solitude becomes the bridge between who they are and who they are becoming, and home becomes the sacred space where transformation is not something forced, but something that naturally unfolds, breath by breath, moment by moment. 2. Rich inner world and self-presence. When you prefer staying home, it is not because you lack excitement or drive, but because your inner world is already full, vivid, and alive in ways most people never fully understand. You carry within you a stream of quiet images, thoughts, and emotions that feel as real and nourishing as anything found outside. And this is what psychologists describe as a high internal self-presence, a state where your deepest satisfaction comes from inner experiences rather than external stimulation. You may find joy in the smallest details: a gentle breeze through your window, the sound of rain touching the roof, or the warmth of a drink resting in your hands. And these moments feel meaningful because you are deeply anchored in yourself. You live with a mind that does not need constant noise to feel awake, because your reflections, your observations, and your private moments hold a richness that many people overlook. When you sit in silence, your thoughts do not scare you. Instead, they guide you, comfort you, or help you understand your emotions on a deeper level. This is why home becomes more than four walls. It becomes a sanctuary where your heart can breathe, where your emotions can rise without judgment, and where your soul naturally leans into healing, clarity, and spiritual development. Because your mind is active and sensitive, you find beauty in little things that others pass by without noticing. A ray of sunlight on the floor, the softness of a blanket, or the quiet hum of a familiar room can bring you a surprising sense of peace. These small moments reflect something important about you. You do not need big experiences to feel alive. Your inner world gives you meaning, and the gentle presence of your own thoughts brings a comfort that crowds, parties, or constant movement cannot match. You are someone who feels deeply, thinks deeply, and connects deeply, and the quiet of home gives your depth the room it needs to flourish. This way of living is not isolation, It is alignment. You are aligned with your natural rhythm, and you understand that your energy renews itself best when you are alone or in peaceful environments. Your intuition becomes clearer, your emotional awareness becomes sharper, and your sense of self becomes stronger. In this space, spirituality grows effortlessly because stillness allows your inner voice to rise. Here, you recognize your truth without outside pressure, and you learn to trust your inner cues, gradually shaping a more grounded, aware version of yourself. So when you choose home over noise, connection over distraction, depth over chaos, you are actually practicing a form of self-preservation and self-respect. Your inner world becomes your teacher. Your emotions become your compass. Your small joys become the reminders that life does not need to be loud to be meaningful. And as you remain present with yourself in these simple moments, you continue walking the quiet but powerful path of spiritual development, one that strengthens your clarity, deepens your emotional intelligence, and nurtures the sanctuary that has always lived within you. If this message about finding sanctuary within your own inner world speaks to you, repeat after me. My home is my sanctuary, and my inner world is my greatest source of peace. 3. Solitude as strength, not isolation. Solitude is not an escape from the world, but a return to yourself. And Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom reminds you that the quiet space within your own mind is where your deepest transformation begins. When you choose solitude intentionally, you step into a state of awareness that loneliness can never offer, because loneliness is the feeling of being disconnected, while solitude is the act of reconnecting with your inner truth. And this difference matters more than people realize. In solitude, you are not hiding. You are listening to your emotions, your intuition, and the subtle signals your life has been trying to send you for years. Jung believed that the inner world is richer and more alive than most people ever dare to explore. And when you allow yourself to sit in silence, you begin to feel that richness rising inside you, guiding you back to a sense of wholeness you may have forgotten. As the philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. And when you finally learn to do this, you discover that what felt like isolation was actually a doorway to clarity, strength, and emotional renewal. And the more time you spend in this intentional solitude, the more you realize that your home becomes a sanctuary, not because of the walls that protect you, but because of the inner atmosphere you cultivate there. When you stay in by choice, you create a space where your thoughts can land softly, where your emotions can rise without judgment, and where you can breathe in ways the noisy outside world rarely allows. This private space becomes the ground where you process old memories, heal old wounds, and explore the parts of yourself that were overlooked when life moved too fast. In solitude, you have the freedom to think deeply, feel honestly, and understand yourself in ways that crowded rooms and loud conversations often prevent. You start to see patterns in your behavior, motivations behind your reactions, and truths that were drowned out by distractions. Solitude becomes the teacher, your home becomes the classroom, and your inner world becomes the subject you finally have the courage to study. And as you move deeper into this sanctuary of stillness, you begin to notice a shift within your emotional landscape. Feelings you once avoided become easier to face because there is no pressure to perform for anyone else. Thoughts you once ignored become clearer because nothing is competing for your attention. Your nervous system begins to settle. Your breathing becomes slower, and your intuition grows louder, almost as if the universe has been waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear what it has been trying to say. This is the moment when solitude turns into strength, when being alone no longer feels like being empty, but being full. You become more connected, not less. More grounded, not isolated. More aware, not withdrawn. And this is why so many spiritually awakened individuals feel safest, most alive, and most aligned when they are alone with themselves. They are not avoiding the world, they are preparing for it, rebuilding their inner foundation, and refining the wisdom they carry inside. In this sense, choosing solitude is not a retreat, but an awakening, a return to your inner sanctuary where your true voice becomes clear and your true self finally feels seen. 4. Emotionally intelligent and highly empathetic. Choosing to stay home is often misunderstood, yet for emotionally intelligent and highly empathetic individuals, it is a natural response to a world that moves too loudly and too quickly. Studies show that homebodies often score high in creativity, empathy, and emotional intelligence. And this sensitivity becomes a kind of inner compass that guides them toward environments where their energy is protected rather than drained. Their ability to sense subtle shifts in tone, mood, or body language comes from years of observing the world quietly, not from a distance of fear, but from a depth of awareness. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart." And this truth explains why those who cherish the safety of home often understand people more deeply than those constantly surrounded by noise. Their calm environment is not an escape, but a lens that sharpens their intuition, helping them recognize emotional patterns that others overlook. Because they feel so deeply, their inner world becomes a sacred landscape where spirituality and spiritual awakening naturally unfold. While others may seek stimulation or external validation, these individuals are more drawn to introspection, reflection, and emotional clarity. Home becomes the place where they can interpret their feelings, cleanse their energy, and reset their nervous system, allowing them to show up in the world with greater kindness and emotional stability. Their sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a form of wisdom that grows stronger in stillness. They prefer the gentle rhythms of their own space, reading, journaling, creating, or simply sitting in peaceful silence, because these activities help them listen to the whispers of their own soul. This inner listening is the foundation of spiritual awakening, the moment when you stop chasing noise and begin hearing the truth that arises from within. Their emotional intelligence deepens further because their home is where they learn to feel without being overwhelmed, to observe without judgment, and to process without interruption. They often notice micro-expressions that last only a fraction of a second. The quick flicker of sadness in someone's eyes, the tension hidden behind a smile, or the exhaustion beneath someone's voice. These subtle cues reveal the emotional world of others, and while most people overlook them, the homebody notices, absorbs, and understands. This ability makes them exceptional listeners and compassionate friends, even if they are not always the most social. As the world demands constant performance, their choice to remain grounded in their own space becomes an act of emotional self-preservation. They are not hiding from life. They are preparing themselves to face it more effectively, more thoughtfully, and more authentically. By honoring their need for solitude, they avoid emotional burnout and regain clarity. Through quiet moments, they find the strength to make better decisions, form healthier boundaries, and maintain greater emotional balance. Their sanctuary at home becomes the anchor that keeps their spirit steady amid the chaos of daily life. For these individuals, staying in is not about avoiding the world, but about engaging with it from a place of wholeness. Their inner world is rich, nuanced, and deeply alive, and every moment spent at home is a moment of alignment with their truth. This is how spirituality begins to flourish through awareness, peace, and the courage to choose what nourishes the soul. If this message resonates with your empathetic and emotionally intelligent nature, comment below. I honor the sanctuary within me. And if you're ready to deepen your journey of inner peace and spiritual wisdom, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. 5. Sensitivity, energy management, and trust. People who love staying in are often deeply sensitive to the world around them. And if you feel this way, it is not because you are fragile, but because your inner system works differently. Loud noise, chaotic spaces, or unpredictable emotions do not just annoy you. They drain you on a level most people never experience, and your nervous system instinctively seeks peace the way a tired heart seeks rest. This desire to stay home is not rooted in fear or avoidance, but in conscious emotional energy management, a quiet understanding that your well-being matters more than forcing yourself into environments that overwhelm you. Your home naturally becomes the protective shell where your mind softens, your emotions settle, and your energy reorganizes itself after being stretched thin by the demands of the outside world. In this space, you do not have to perform, adjust, or pretend. You simply return to yourself, and this return is where spirituality and spiritual development quietly unfold. Carl Jung often emphasized that the soul speaks in subtle movements, and when you stay in, you finally have the silence needed to hear those inner messages that get drowned out in crowds. As you choose stillness over stimulation, you deepen the relationship between your conscious mind and your unconscious wisdom, allowing clarity, intuition, and emotional insight to surface naturally. The world may tell you that solitude is weakness, or that staying home is laziness, but deep down, you know the truth. Your sensitivity is not a flaw to be fixed, but a compass guiding you toward environments that honor your inner balance. Each moment of quiet strengthens your ability to sense what feels right and what drains your spirit. And every time you choose peace, you reinforce a powerful message to yourself. My energy is valuable, and I am allowed to protect it. This is why your home feels like a sanctuary, not a hiding place. It is where your nervous system resets, where your emotional boundaries rebuild, and where your deepest self steps forward without needing permission. And the more you embrace this, the more you learn that solitude is not the absence of life, but the presence of alignment. Through this gentle rhythm of withdrawing and replenishing, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level, that your quiet nature comes with its own strength, that your sensitivity allows you to see, feel, and understand what others overlook. and that choosing rest is not stepping back from the world, but stepping closer to your true center. So when you feel the urge to stay in, trust it. It is your inner guidance telling you that peace is your natural environment, clarity is your birthright, and your soul grows strongest in spaces where you can hear yourself. Leave a like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the insights that support your spiritual awakening. Comment below. I trust my inner energy and protect my peace. 6. Misunderstood but deeply authentic. When society calls you antisocial or lazy for loving the comfort of your home, it misunderstands something deeply authentic about you, because your desire to stay in is not a retreat from life, but a return to yourself, a choice rooted in spiritual wisdom and the inner truths that Carl Jung spent his life trying to explain. You are not avoiding people. You are avoiding shallowness, those empty exchanges, forced smiles, and surface-level interactions that leave your spirit feeling drained. You crave depth, sincerity, and connection that feels alive. And because the world rarely offers that, home becomes the place where your soul can breathe. As Jung once said, loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter to you. And this is why you often feel more whole in your own space than in a crowded room. Home is where you can finally drop the masks, let your energy settle, and allow your mind and heart to realign with what feels true. Instead of chasing applause, validation, or constant stimulation, you choose to invest in the quiet work that others cannot see. Healing old wounds, listening to your intuition, nurturing your inner world, and building a life that feels rooted instead of performed. While many people try to impress the outside world, you are cultivating something far more meaningful on the inside: clarity, emotional honesty, and spiritual grounding. Jung reminded us, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. And every moment you spend at home reading, reflecting, journaling, praying, meditating, or simply existing in peace is a moment of awakening that strengthens who you are becoming. You are intentional about the people you let into your life because you value loyalty over popularity, honesty over entertainment, and depth over noise. You would rather have one genuine friend than 100 shallow connections, and your home reflects that same selectiveness. It is a sanctuary shaped by comfort, meaning, and the quiet beauty of being fully yourself. In this space, your nervous system relaxes, your thoughts expand, and your spirit feels free to grow without pressure. This is often where your best ideas appear, where emotional clarity arrives, and where you rediscover parts of yourself that the outside world makes you forget. Loving your home does not mean you fear the world. It means you are wise enough to protect your energy, your peace, and your inner truth. And while others may never understand this part of you, you are learning that not everyone is meant to. Because choosing home, choosing depth, and choosing yourself is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are living with intention, awakening with courage, and honoring the inner sanctuary where your real transformation begins. 7. Home is a sanctuary for growth and self-love. Home becomes a sacred sanctuary when you finally recognize that the quiet moments you spend inside your own walls are not signs of withdrawal, but signs of deep emotional wisdom, because every part of you is allowed to exist, without judgment, without pressure, and without the constant need to perform for the world. In this private space, you are free to return to your true self, and the small routines you repeat each day slowly evolve into rituals of restoration that support your spirituality and spiritual awakening. Carl Jung often emphasized that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and that journey begins in places where you feel safe enough to let your inner world speak. So home naturally turns into a silent companion that helps you confront what you feel, understand what you need, and rebuild the parts of you that life has worn thin. As you settle into this space, the ordinary becomes meaningful. The cup of warm tea you make each morning becomes a grounding ritual. The candle you light at night becomes a moment of soft reflection. And even the way you arrange your surroundings becomes a quiet declaration that you are worthy of comfort and care. These simple acts are not stagnant habits. They are intentional offerings to yourself, gentle reminders that healing does not always require dramatic change, but often begins with the smallest expressions of self-love. Home becomes a mirror that shows your authentic emotional landscape, the exhaustion you have been hiding, the dreams you have ignored, the thoughts you have postponed, and the truths you have been afraid to say out loud. Within these walls, you can finally be honest, and honesty becomes the foundation for deeper inner growth. As this inner honesty expands, the home transforms into something like a personal temple where silence becomes your medicine and stillness becomes your teacher. Jung believed that a person's inner universe can only reveal itself when the external noise quiets, and home is the one place where this revelation becomes possible. Here, your nervous system softens, your mind slows, and your emotions settle into clarity. You begin hearing the subtle voice of intuition that gets lost in the world's noise. You reconnect with forgotten parts of yourself, the part that longs for peace, the part that seeks meaning, the part that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. This is where spiritual awakening often takes root, not through grand events, but through these slow, consistent moments of being fully present with yourself. Over time, the energy of your home grows with you, reflecting your healing and your evolution. The space that once felt like a refuge from chaos becomes a place of intentional transformation. The solitude that once felt like retreat becomes preparation. What looks like staying in is actually stepping inward to gather strength before stepping outward again with more confidence, clarity, and emotional maturity. This is why choosing to stay home is not a sign of avoidance. It is a conscious act of reclaiming your energy, your inner stability, and your sense of direction. As you nurture this sanctuary, you realize that home is not simply where you rest. It is where your soul learns, heals, and rises into a more aligned and empowered version of yourself. If you're still here with me, comment, "My home is my sanctuary," below. Your voice helps us grow this space of wisdom and self-love. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more content like this. In the end, when home becomes a sanctuary, it reflects a deeper truth Carl Jung often emphasized. The outer world mirrors the state of the inner world. Choosing to stay in isn't always isolation. It can be a powerful act of grounding, healing, and reconnecting with your authentic self. If today's message resonated with you, Please like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming reflections on psychology, spirituality, and the inner journey.